In this lesson, we're going to talk about how identifying key features of quadratic functions, both from graphs and from equations. What this is going to do is it's going to kind of help set us up for being able to graph quadratic functions easier, because we're going to be able to know how to find the key features we need to have in order to graph. So we're going to kind of learn the foundation pieces during this lesson, and then the next two lessons talk about how can we actually graph quadratics both in standard and in vertex form. So then there's basically things about a function that y equals x squared is a quadratic function. That's something we should be familiar with, especially from that chapter 2 when we did transformations. A quadratic function is any function written in standard form. So this is standard form. For a quadratic function, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are all real numbers. The only kind of restriction is that a cannot equal 0, and that's because if a equaled 0, that term would go away and it would no longer be a quadratic function. And then the graph of a quadratic function is a curve called a parabola. Okay, this is all kind of stuff we've talked about before, but just kind of some refresh of some information. Right, the first thing we're going to be discussing is identifying the vertex of a parabola from a graph. Hey, the vertex of a parabola is going to be the highest or the lowest point of a parabola or our function. Okay, so the first way to know is, how do you know it's the highest or lowest? Well, if your graph opens up, so like the ends of your graph go up up as opposed to down, the vertex is going to be the lowest point. So like here in graph number 1, this point right down here, this is my vertex, and since it's at the bottom of my parabola, that is going to be the lowest point. Okay, and then if the graph opens down, like here in graph number 2, so my ends of my graph face down, that is still my vertex, but in this case, that is the highest point of my graph. Okay, and that's all kind of just about how the graph is orientated, because if it's at the bottom, obviously that's going to be the lowest point. If it's at that vertex is at the top, it's going to be the highest. We can also figure out from this, is that vertex a maximum or a minimum? The vertex will be a maximum if it is the highest point on your graph. Reason being is that the rest of your graph is going to be below that point, so that is the highest point of your graph, so it is the maximum of that parabola. Similarly, if the vertex is a minimum if it is at the lowest point, okay, because that is the lowest your graph will ever be, and so it's not going to get any bigger than that point at the bottom. And then just kind of quick about identifying, we can also look at when we find the value of the vertex. So like in this case, if I look at this first one, the value of this vertex right here, I can count is, I believe, -3, 2. And since it's at the bottom, I know it's a minimum. Okay, the x value of the vertex gives me the location of the maximum or minimum, or what I also like to say, it's where the maximum or minimum occurs, and the y value of the vertex gives the actual maximum or minimum value. So in this case, like here, I would say on this first graph up at the top, is a minimum of 2 at x equals -3. So then looking at the examples we have at the bottom, I'm going to look at this first one, and I'm going to identify the highest or lowest point. I can see this point up here is the highest point. That point is -2, 5. So that is my vertex, is -2, 5. Since it is my highest point, I know that that is a maximum. And then my maximum value is the y coordinate. So that is going to be of 5 at x equals -2. And then on this one, I look here, this is my lowest point. This ordered pair is 3, -1. So my vertex is 3, -1. It is in this case a minimum, since it's at the bottom, of -1 at x equals 3. The next thing we're going to talk about is just kind of another key piece of quadratics, is going to be the axis of symmetry of a parabola. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line that can be drawn through my graph and through my parabola that splits it into two symmetrical halves. okay? It's important to note that this line, the axis of symmetry, will always pass through the vertex of our parabola. So if I look at this graph over here, I want to see I can draw. I can see that if I draw a vertical line through this point right here, through my vertex, that splits my graphs in halves and creates two symmetrical halves. That is what we call our axis of symmetry. Then I have to ask myself, what is that equation? Well, it's a vertical line, and I know vertical lines are always x equals, and in this case, it's going to be x equals -1 because that is the x value that that line goes through. Okay? It's important to note you will always need to write the x equals part because you have to make sure you're indicating that it is an equation and not just a number. So looking at the two examples on the bottom, first the one on the left, I could draw a line through here, and I can see that is through x equals 1, so my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Then on the right, I can draw a line straight through there that is on the y-axis, so that goes through x equals 0, so my axis of symmetry is x equals 0. Okay. So that was from a graph. Usually, typically from a graph is a little bit easier to find all that information. But we also have to be able to find this information from an equation because eventually we want to graph an equation and figure out the graph, so we're not going to be given it. So I have to find a way to find the axis of symmetry and the vertex from an equation that's written in standard form. Because as we talked about in the previous lesson, if it's in vertex form, you can just pull that vertex and then subsequently also get the axis of symmetry from that directly from the equation. So if my equation is written in standard form and I want to find my axis of symmetry, I can use this formula right here. So this formula is x equals the opposite of b over 2 times a. Okay, usually, typically, I write this negative sign included with the b, so it kind of looks more like that. Let's kind of erase this one right here. Just to kind of keep it a little bit easier on our numbers. So what we're going to do, and then in this case, a is the coefficient of our x squared term, and b is the coefficient of the x term. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what a and b are. We're going to substitute those numbers in, find the value for x, and then since we know that our axis of symmetry always falls through or goes through our vertex, that x value we find is actually the x value of your vertex. So then we can just plug in that x value into our equation to find the y value of our vertex and then find our whole vertex. So let's just walk through an example of this here on this problem below. So I have y equals negative x squared plus 6x plus 9. So my first job is I'm going to identify what is a, b, and then we can also look at what is c. We don't really need c, but we'll just kind of practice. So I know a is -1, b is 6, and c is 9. So using my formula, I know I'm going to have the opposite of b. Well, b is a positive 6, so the opposite of that is -6 over 2 times -1. Simplifying, I get -6 over -2 when I multiply 2 times -1, which then simplifies to 3. So I find that my axis of symmetry is x equals 3. I then want to go and find my vertex. So I'm going to plug in 3 for all of the x's in my equation. So I'm going to get y equals the opposite of 3 squared plus 6 times 3 plus 9. Well, 3 squared is 9. The opposite of that is going to be -9. And then 6 times 3 is 18. And I have plus 9. -9 plus 18 is 9. And then 9 plus 9 is 18. So I find my vertex to be 3, 8. Okay, we'll do that again for example 2. So I'm first going to find my vertex on my axis of symmetry. So I'm going to do that x equals the opposite of b over 2 times a. Here in this case, a is 2, b is a positive 8, and c is 3. Since the opposite of a positive 8 is a negative 8, and I get 2 times 2, so then I get negative 8 over 4, which ends up being negative 2. So I find that x equals negative 2 is my axis of symmetry. Then I want to find my vertex, so I'm going to plug that in for each of my x's. Negative 2 squared is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is negative 16, and then I get plus 3. 8 minus 16 is negative 8, and then negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. So I find my vertex to be negative 2, write that better, is negative 2, negative 5. Okay, why don't you go ahead, try example 3, see if you can kind of figure it out on your own, and then so pause the video, come back, and we'll go over the problem. Okay, so hopefully you were able to figure this out. So here on this one, a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is negative 10. So b is a negative 4, so the opposite of that is a positive 4. And I have 2 over 2 times 1. That leaves me having 4 divided by 2, which equals 2. So I find my axis of symmetry to be x equals 2. Then I need to find my vertex, so I'm going to plug that in, and I get y equals 2 squared times 4 times 2 minus 10. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. I have minus 10. 4 minus 8 is a negative 4. And then negative 4 minus 10 is a negative 14. So I find my vertex to be negative 2, negative 14. And that is how you find axis of symmetry and vertex from an equation. Right. The last step then here is we're going to figure out how can I determine if my parabola opens up or down, and then what that maximum or minimum value is going to be. So looking at this, okay, I can again use the equation to help me, and we're going to look at the a value. So if your a value is bigger than 0, or in other words, consider your a value is positive, okay, then your parabola will open up and have a minimum, right? Because it's going to be at that lowest point, okay? If a is negative or a is less than 0, then your parabola will open down, and then you are going to have a maximum, okay? The same thing is true that the maximum value is the y value of your vertex. Where it occurs is the x value, okay? Normally when you would walk through these problems and you would do this, you would have to do that whole find your vertex first, but these are all the same problems we just did. So to save us time, I'm just going to rewrite the vertices that we found. So for example 1, this vertex was 3, 8. This was negative 2, negative 5, and then this was 2, negative 14. Okay, so if you had to do this on test or quiz though, and we didn't already find that vertex, you would have to go through that whole, do the negative b over 2a and plug your number in. So then here, I just need to look, I know a is negative 1, b is 6, and c is 9. So if I look at a is negative 1, which is less than 0 since it's negative, so I know this is going to open down, which tells me that it is going to be a maximum. I know this is my y value, this is my x value, so this is of 8 at x equals 3. And then on example 2, I can see that a is 2. That is bigger than 0, so this is going to open up. So that means this will be a minimum. And it's going to be a minimum of negative 5 at x equals negative 2. And then lastly here on example 3, a equals 1. That is bigger than 0, so that is going to open up. So that will give me another minimum of negative 14 at x equals a positive 2.